Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to High G's for another episode of the JFDI podcast. I'm very excited about tonight. Very. Because tonight we've got three firsts. Now, I've just said to my guest, this is the only time during the podcast that I get to say whatever I want about you. So he's sitting looking at me, cursing in the green room, waiting to be brought on. But there's three firsts that I've got tonight. So I mentioned earlier on in the week, this is the first time that I've spoken to an old friend of mine who's actually still serving in the military. So that's one first. The second first, which I kind of have to say for him, because he's beaten a few other possibilities to the title here. He's the first Mank that I've had on the JFDI podcast. So that's the second first. And the third first as well, it's related to the fact that it's related to Manchester. Let's just say that. But before I say any more, why don't we bring in my guest? Now, what to say about this man, apart from the fact that you now know he's from Manchester. I've known him for over 30 years. I get the opportunity to ask him some questions tonight. He could say some stuff about me as well. He's one of the oldest friends from the days back in RAF Buchan, who knew me at a very interesting time in all of our lives that crossed there. Please, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to use his RAF title because he'll probably slip that in at some point. I am almost certain. Ladies and gentlemen, my good friend, Mank, Blue, Mr. Nick Hamer. Welcome, Nick.
Well, what a bloody introduction that was. Thank you very much.
Well, I do my best.
Right, I'm absolutely happy with that. Like you say, over 30 years, isn't it? It's 32 years. I can't believe we're actually both alive still, to be honest.
That's one. I think I'm not sure whether it was live or whether it was before or after the show that I did with Pat Penn. When
great series, by the way, Pete. Honestly, really, really great series. Bringing us all back. I mean, you've got guests you've had already, guests coming up. Honestly, we're all getting addicted to it now. Really looking forward to the next Thursday when the next person's on or whatever. So you're doing really well, kid.
Thank you. I appreciate that, mate. I appreciate it. Listen, I do it because I love doing it. I love doing it. Right back to when we kind of started the whole Saturday Night Fight Club stuff, and we went out to Belfast, and we've just taken it, and then obviously bringing everything online. I get a real kick from it, mate. But I really appreciate you saying that. Thank you very much indeed.
Right.
Yeah, thank you.
Where credit's due. Not that we all had that throughout our careers, have we?
Well, what can I say? I would say that praise where praise is due, right? And for many years during my career, certainly the first few years, there wasn't much praise due.
Maybe your talent was never realised, for want of a better word. Perhaps, yeah. Maybe.
Yes, indeed. Well, anyway, listen, enough about me. As much as that I'd be quite happy to sit and take praise all night. How are you? How are you feeling?
I'll be really honest with you. I've done obviously, you've known me in my military career. I've managed to do a lot. I've accumulated a few gongs along the way now. I've been all over the world with it. But most of it I was saying to my beloved Beth earlier on. I just said, do you know what? I'm actually quite nervous about tonight. You know, I'm actually quite nervous. So I'm just ready to explode, for want of a better word. Ready to listen to the fantastic music I've chosen. Because if you're ready, when you asked us all to choose five songs,
yeah,
I honestly, I swear to you, swear down. I put me 5 songs down and about what it meant to me, and they're all in a quite closed number of years, because I hold dearly 1988 to 1996 very, very close to my heart, because not only did it set me up for who the person I am today, but it made me the person that my dad was dead proud of.
Brilliant.
Right? Because now I've got a younger brother, Mark. A lot of you know him, 19'5", built like a brick shithouse, SF lad, you know, and all that. You know, you're thinking, how are you two related? It's only the years that give it away, to be fair. Right? Other than that, my mother was doing terrible things, which she shouldn't have done 18 months after I was born anyway. But we lived my father's life through us, because he was ex-forces. You know, he's the ex-regiment Corps Major, the Blues and Royals, on his horseback and all that, doing terrible things to horses. You know, and we made him proud. And that particular time of our lives, and, you know, like I say, the 88 to 96 in particular, you know, defined who I am today and where I am today.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm a perfect article. I'm not. I'm far from it. Ask Arbeth. You know, I'm far from it, right? But what I am is I'm a true person, and I am dead proud of where I am today.
Brilliant, mate. And why not? And why not?
Really?
Absolutely. Well, listen, let's use your words, right? Let's explode. Let's go.
Let's go for it.
Before we do, because I've got a feeling that this one is going to be good, right? Let me, because we'll get lost in conversation. Just a quick shout out. We've got a few people on, so we'll say hello to Mr. Fairclough. You want to say good evening, Nick?
Paul, good evening to you, sir. How are you?
Oh, and we also have Mr. Tranter on this evening.
Carl Tranter, the love of my life, my forbidden love.
Yeah. Do you remember that? And do you remember that story that you told me backstage just before we came live about your first meeting with a guy in J Block back at RAF Buchan?
The dirty red side of Manchester, Osborne, by any chance?
Yeah, here's what he's got to say to you. He said you're a red, really.
He needs to check what part.
Like you're being set up tonight.
The dirty sod.
Oh, right. We've got Mr. Barlow in the house.
Oh, the second best looking Irishman I've ever met.
There you go. Blue Moon, he's saying. Blue
Blue
Moon.
Moon, till we die, son.
Ali Back's in the house.
Ali Back. How are you, sir?
We've got Vicky is watching as well tonight.
The woman who I've always, as a corporal, was giving it, I'll do jankers for you, ma'am. I really would.
And then just at the moment, yeah, we've got another little cheeky laugh from Mr. Osborne there.
There you go.
Right, let's explode, mate. First song. Over to you. This is the other reason that I'm really excited. These songs, I was going to kind of take the mick and say that I was more excited for the songs, but that would have just been, that might have been a step too far in taking the mick. First song, mate, is Step On by the Happy Mondays. Boom. You want it to explode, go for it.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. The reason why this was in my top 5 is because I used to live next door to a proper melon in Orkney Block. And he thought he was a bit of a big lad from Manchester and all that. Actually, he was a Glaswegian. He was always in trouble. And I think you can identify with this individual, can't you? And he used to repeat and his bloody stereo coming through my walls at every hour of the day, especially at the weekends when he had too much pop. But Step On, Happy Mondays, still to this day, one of my favourite songs in the whole wide world. Just remember, you're twisting me melons, man. Sure, right.
We should have said, shouldn't we? For anybody that didn't know, we were neighbours, weren't we?
Yes, we were. Yes, well, you had a roommate as well, if you remember. He used to live in your room 24/7, Bladesy as well. You know what I mean? Absolutely, you know, top and tail of his bed. It was cute. It was very nice, very nice.
Oh my God, you went there. You went there. he's you know, he's coming on the show as Mr. Blade.
Can't wait. Honestly, really can't wait.
And for anybody, for the folks that are watching at the moment, Bladesy, for no reason other than that it's just it just fell that way with the scheduling. We've got Paul Blades and Mr. Pinkster talking on April Fool's Day.
Oh well, there you go. That's quite apt, really, isn't it?
There you go. So that's the story behind Step On. Happy Mondays, twisting my melon. Do you know what? I still smile every single time I hear that song. I really do. I do.
I mean, even more so the way they've developed into Gogglebox stars, him and Bez. I mean, okay, Paul Ryder's not looking at his best right now, to be fair. You know what I mean? But he still brings joy to our generation. And people, you know, it's like you get the youngsters now, you know, like our Neve and Chloe and all that, and they're giving it, you know, who's he? You know what I mean? You are. He's the biggest pop star Manchester's ever produced, arguably, other than the Gallaghers. You know what I mean? But they see Gallaghers as what's called shameless. No, baby. Once you get him splits in order, he's going to be a superstar. You know what I mean? So, oh yeah, it's
what I found out from another of our friends very recently, because I've been watching a few documentaries about psychedelics just for a passing interest, you know, and I'd learned that Mr. Ryder was also quite a key player in the introduction of ecstasy to the Manchester music scene.
Goddamn lie.
Played quite a pivotal part. But anyway, just one of the things that you said there about youngsters of today, right?
Yeah.
So what a question for you on that. If you think about the stuff that was happening in and around, you know, that music, Step On and Happy Mondays, if you could go back, right? If you could go back to there, what's the one thing, knowing what you know now, that you wish you'd known when you began your career?
See, I've got a funny answer, right? And then I've got quite a serious answer.
Let's have both.
Don't go out in Osborne on a night out in Manchester, take you to Canal Street, then realise what Canal Street meant. And I want to talk about three floors down in the dungeon. And he went, "Yeah, mate, you're going to help here, aren't you?" No.
The only time I've ever seen that sign, mate, for that road is when the C is scored off and the S is scored off.
Yeah, or you can see it in Oz's bedroom, definitely. It's there all the time, to be fair. But it's a great question. Moderation, toleration, and just understanding what people actually want to get out of life. Because it's so easy as a military moron, what I am now, after, 30 odd years service. I am, and I regularly say it to my lot now, I say, I'm sorry, I'm a military moron, I'm not putting up with that, that's rubbish, or whatever. But you've got to, if you go back now, you can understand why people did things, and it's because what they thought was right, and they enjoyed themselves. So toleration is probably what I would say, toleration.
Toleration. You've touched on something there, but and I've got another question, but I'm going to wait until later on to ask you, because it's I guess it just bookmarks it. So I'll ask you at the end. It'll be better at the end. For the guys that are watching, look, I was going to say you can tell them, but we'll have Mr. O'Hare.
There he is. There he is. What about you? Andy O'Hare. I love it. Love it. One for you, Andy.
And here we go. We've got Mr. O'Donnell has joined us tonight as well.
James. Hello, sir. How are you?
Says, what a tune.
There you go.
So let's move on to the next tune, shall we?
Oh, please do.
Right, and we'll see whether anybody, because remember at the beginning in the introduction I talked about there being 3 firsts, and we spoke about the 2 firsts. So I think what we'll do, because we've got a few people watching. I think that maybe I should give a prize to the person that guesses first what the 3rd first is. And I think it's the only time it'll happen on this podcast. Let's just say, ask it another way. The first person to guess what theme is emerging here. Let's move on to your next song. It's Fool's Gold by Stone Roses. Right. You wanted to start with an explosion. Now,
oh my Christ, H Mahogany. Oh my word. I first listened to this in an individual's car, and we were traveling ridiculously fast on the back route to, there he is, Manchester. Cheers, Mo. I was in the back in his car going back up Stamford Hill. Do you remember at the back of Buchan? You come out of NFL, you turn left, which only a madman would go on that road, you know, because no passing places. The only passing place was over the top of another car. Yeah, and we were so late because we got up, and I'm not giving aspersions on this individual's character, but he actually thought it was Evel Knievel. He really did. Now we were in his brand new car. It was his pride of his life, and he went, "We'll get to work quicker this way, won't we?" Like that. Come on. And anyway, we turned left out of NFL instead of right, then right again on the main road towards the power station. And knowing that we had Jock Thompson waiting for us, Dolly Deacon, let's get in here, you're in a bit of bother, I'm afraid, and all that. And you just had all the gorillas waiting for you. And he went, "Don't worry, we'll get to work in time, mate," and all that. Literally, we're bombing up Stamford Hill. And he went, "Oh, you want to listen to this? What a tune." And I came on. And I was like, boom, 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 boom. And then literally, we're going around the corner, and there is a tractor head-on with us. He went, "Don't worry, I just hit the corner, we'll go fly right by." I thought, "I'm not in Top Gun, my friend." You know? And I was like, I was inverted going over the top, the tractor on Stamford Hill. We landed, and we got to where we wanted to spare because there was a spare parking slot outside the 93 car park. So I'll thank him for this, Dave. I didn't get, but also getting to work on time to keep my Halo intact.
Amazing.
Not my internet, your internet. So he knows who it is.
Yeah. It was one of it. It was one. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, it is 1.4 SR Nova, which is Mummy and Daddy paid for him, by the way. Don't let anyone tell you different.
He never told me that.
Exactly. Paid for it myself.
Yeah, he's
sorry, Mr. X. There he is. There he is. Too funny.
Stone Roses.
Sorry. Yes.
Did you ever see them? Did you see them live at all?
I got to see them live at, and I'm not going to admit this too much, at Old Trafford. All right.
Okay.
Old Trafford. I mean, I was in disguise when I went there. We saw at Old Trafford. What a gig and all that. But with a million wannabe Mancs and really want to be, a million Mancunians as well.
Yeah.
Other than who's on next, I have never ever seen a gig like it where people were just. In fact, the only other gig I've ever seen people joining in verbatim, word for word, right, was 1997 in the top naffy in the Falkland Islands when Robbie Williams came on Angels, where all these hard-nosed, army, right, you know, we're all sat there, and there was about 1,000 of us sat in that naffy having a drink on Christmas Eve, thinking my life's come to an end. What am I doing down here? Then I sit awake. There's an angel, and literally my arse it was. Right, it came on, and I've never heard a collaboration of individuals sing a song so perfect. The song ended on the last word, and everyone just went, and there was about 20-second silence. Everyone just went, rap one. And then, you know, it was, you know, normal service was resumed. So yeah,
Right.
but that particular game, every song was known, everyone talked about it, and everyone just got on. It was nice. There was no trouble.
Right.
In them days, I swear, I know there was a big drug scene and all that, but there was just no trouble between people.
Yeah.
There wasn't.
It's nice. I love that about gigs.
Not exactly, and you know, and you and Oz, and you know, all the other lads who were close to me in my life at that time, got me into that. And I always thought, I'll be honest with you, I was quite naive, really. I was quite naive because, you know, although from where I came from, I was a sport this, sport that, playing this, doing that. Then got into the music scene, especially living in J Block and then in Orkney Block with you lot, giving it all that nonsense. I was like, all right, okay, yeah, that's rubbish. And I'd listen to that again. Then a song would come on. I was like, like this, like a bit of that. So yeah, I'm very thankful that the like of my music, which I still bore the absolute bejesus out of my family now. You know, they go, oh, not again, not Oasis, not this.
Well, let's see whether or not it's sunk in. What have you listened to lately, or read? Even doesn't need to be a song. What have you listened to or read lately that's inspired you?
Are you trying to get a freebie here of your book?
No,
mate. No, mate. I'll be honest with you. I was only saying to Beth earlier on that the last book I read from cover to cover, because I couldn't put it down, was your book. No, seriously. It was other than the identification manual, the JSP 442. No, right. No, the real book was yours. I couldn't put it down. And anybody out there who's not read Graham's book, you need to read it, because you might make a cheeky little entrance into it in some sort of way. But every line, every paragraph, every chapter, there was a reference to something. Like I say, there's a bit of artistic license in it. No, it's not a damn fact. Was in there. The part of life, because I mean, look, you married beautiful Karen. You've had 2 amazing children. The journey you've had as well. But isn't it nice just to float back to when we're all carefree? Yeah. You know what I mean? We had no response. The only responsibility to was who was going to take Jock Thompson a cup of coffee in the morning. Who was going to take a beating? Me or you? Not Osborne. No,
normally me.
You know what I mean? Or, you know, it's like Tranner, wherever Tranter was up to. Oh, no, doing that. You know, so the point I'm making is it was an era where you could all get into it, and you've been very gracious, and you've playing with people's feet. You've signed one for me as well, which means more to me. You know, and it's sat there on my bookshelf, and I will treasure it forever.
Oh, thank you.
No, it's a cracking read. It just takes you back to that era, that period. You know, like say who's on tonight, Ali Back, you know, Mr. Fairclough, you know, Bladesy, you know, and everybody was up there. It was. If you don't look back at those times as a magical time of our lives,
yeah,
I think I'm not saying there's something wrong, because that's rude. You know, it's like, you know, don't say anything. I haven't finished it yet. Sorry, Vicky, I won't. But you know, these 3 dogs die in a terrible car accident. It just magical times. Okay, you had us Captain Idiots, you know, at 17, 18, and then you know you had Vicky. She's going to hate me for saying this, because obviously she was a corporal and we were airman scum. You know, a couple of years older than us. You know, and it just embraced an era. Do you know what I mean? It just, and it's just so innocent. It's so proper. It's so inspiring, because it's like, Beth keeps saying to me, write your memoirs of your time in the Air Force. You know what I mean? And why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I?
Well, why wouldn't you? And you see, when you decide to write them, I know a very good publisher.
Mate, you might get that. You might get that gig. You might get that gig.
There you go. That's my good lady wife is saying thank you as well.
There you go. Was that Kerry who popped up there?
We had that was Karen.
Karen.
And before that,
Carl.
Yeah, I think Carl, I haven't paid him a penny to talk about the book. I kid you not, honestly, not rehearsed at all, honest.
I'll tell you now. Obviously in our journey we've all done, right? We're all great friends, but that bald-headed Brummie, he is top draw, that lad. We always like say, we all on this journey together, and we all stick together after all these years. Why? Have you got mates from school who you're still friends with after all this time, as close as a tight fist?
No,
I haven't. I go home to Manchester, right, and I'll go out for a beer or whatever, and they go, "Oh, Nicky Amer's home and whatever. Tell us what you've been up to." And they'll say, "Well, okay, I've just done some time in Syria or whatever. I've gone to Al Dafra or whatever." They give it, "Oh man, oh no, that good." And they go, "You dead luck." I said, No. You had the same opportunity that I did. And half of them in Manchester have not been outside the M60, and the other half are still living with mum and dad. You know what I mean? So it's their fault. But you look at Tranna, you look at yourself, and just look at what we've achieved. It's absolutely to every one of us.
Yeah. It's been a ride, hasn't it? Been a ride and a half.
I've had so many ups and downs, my friend. You have no idea, because my I didn't include it in my 5 because it wasn't part of the period I want to talk to you about. But my song is "I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never going to let me down." Chumbawamba. You are never going to let me down. And if that was blurting in the back of my head right now, the amount of times where you just go, "No, do you know what? Here we go again." And you're like, "Let's get up. Let's do it again. Come on." That's career and personal life together. But that would be my anthem. I get knocked down, but I get up again.
Yeah, it's like it's why I don't know that the old Rocky line about it's like that's life, isn't it? It's not about how hard you can punch, or it's being punched, being knocked down. It's about how hard you can be punched, knocked down, and get back up again. It's true. No, it's true. You've got to do it, and I think it's a really, really good point, because the lessons, and certainly, like you say, personal life, and and through the military, and you've got 20 more years of that on top of when I left, but it builds the resilience, right?
Absolutely.
It helps you to learn, what, I can get through this. It's a really, really good point. Whilst we all stand where we are right now in life, and we kind of look forward to what we might like to achieve and do between, for the rest of our lives, it serves you well to occasionally look back and kind of, just see where you've come from, right? And what you've achieved, and what you've come through as well.
You see, am I a fan of social media? Well, I have to be, because I'm on it tonight. But the people on social media who I follow, and I'm going to make Andy O'Hare, an example now. I see him walking to the moon and back. I see him and Maggie. Why do I know he's thank you, very good. I look at Andy and I see he's walking with Maggie, and I think sometimes your dog doesn't want to walk that far out. Route 66, you walk the length of bloody the UK, give it a rest. But it just inspires me.
He's now walking it across America.
Exactly, Route 66. So the point I'm making is, I see like Andy doing that, and I see like yourself, what you're doing when you're getting smice baths in the morning. I'm thinking, that's because your balls don't work anymore. Clearly, as I say, like and Oz and Tranter and all that, trying to. I mean, I love. If anyone's faced adversity, and he's like since leaving the yesteryears, since he left the forces, which I think was his biggest mistake in his life. Biggest mistake in his life. He could have gone on to being a CASWO, Chief of the Air Staff Warrant Officer, no problem, right? He just had a bum steer, but we'll leave it at that before we get taken off the air, whatever, right? But you see what he's done since, and now he's getting free sex at night as a prison officer. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? He's getting free sex at night. Right, boss, can I not have a look in at 2 o'clock in the morning? To quote, I'm sorry about this, it's children watching, but so I'm having phone sex with the wife. I think that's brilliant, but he still doesn't have a look because that's our trying. He's dedicated to the cause. I'm in so much trouble for that. I'm so sorry. Sorry, Carl.
Oh, dear me. Okay. Well, balls against the wall, mate, on this
That's
one.
What he does. That's what he does. Gets him against the wall. Anyway, sorry.
You know what? That's a really good segue because your next song is up against the wall, the Wonder Wall.
My other love of my life, Manchester City. You're absolutely right. You all know it, and I can say I was there when we were shit. So I'm not a glory. Indeed, I am. I am not there as a glory hunter because obviously Osborne and taking off the air rain off. Yeah, Osborne. You had remember Chewy Hewitt, Al Hewitt.
Yeah.
He
was on one of our recent calls.
Yeah, I got back into it. I said, you've got to get into this, mate. I'll have a look at it. And I don't know and all that. And he put a proper. He's been living down south too long. You know what I mean? Essex. You know what I mean? I went, oh my god. He went, all right, how are you? You know what I mean? So he got his accent back for it anyway. But no, Wonderwall. After all, and that was Main Road. I was in the Kipax. Alan Ball was our manager, and we changed the lyrics because after all, you're my Alan Ball, and it just synonymous for Manchester City, which and everybody else knows. I think too much that Manchester City is. I have to say this very delicately. Thank you, Beth. Beth's looking at me. She said, "You say you love Manchester City more than me. You're out tonight, so it's cold." And it's raining, so it's my second love right now, behind Beth. So yeah, there you go. At Manchester City, I remember being at school and Manchester United being this, and everything, and pretty much like Celtic has been in your life, mate.
What?
Literally, I remember saying to my dad. I said, Dad, can I be a Man United supporter? He says, you can be. He says, but you're not going to be leaving this house, son. He asked me to leave at 6. That's traumatised me. That's traumatised. So, there we are. It's just synonymous. And I think the words, if you listen to the words in a nice, dark, single candle, on there on your own with a nice malt on the go. If you listen to the words, it could actually mean something to every one of us.
Yeah, he has a very good knack. I think more so back in the day than now, but he had a very good knack of doing that in a lot of Oasis songs. They were universal.
Yeah, no argument at all there. I still think today how popular they are. There's a reason why they're so popular. Not because you have Liam gobbing off to Noel or Noel gobbing off to Liam. It's just that their music just goes on, and the stuff they're doing on their own now as well. I could have chosen numerous songs from Oasis, but that particular one, because of the Alan Ball, we changed it in the Kipax. When I was there at 16, 17. 18, 19, whatever, just listening to the song, singing it out with the crowd. Because after all, you're my wonder wall. and it's just synonymous to Manchester.
Do you think they'll ever get? Do you think they'll ever get back together?
Well, they've indicated they have. I think they'd be bloody mental if they don't. I mean, I don't think either of them are skin, but I mean, if you're slagging your brother off and he's slagging the other one off and all that, and they're giving it to chat, I think it's just posturing. I think it's all PR. I really do. I really do, because it's the mother. Look at the mother still living there. In where they grew up, and she's going, there's nothing wrong with them. They're all getting on with each other fine. Don't you worry. And I do. And whatever song they release the first time round will be a platinum. Whatever the biggest record you could buy will be like that within 24 hours. Because I do believe, and I'm waiting for the abuse to come up here and now on this broadcast. I do believe they are the biggest pop band ever in the world. I know Oz will say NSYNC is, or the Backstreet Boys, because he likes a bit of Backstreet, doesn't he? That's what.
I would agree, but I wouldn't be using the word pop. I don't think that there's anything about them that's pop.
Rock.
Yeah, rock and roll. They're proper rock and roll stars, really.
Yeah, fair play.
Oh no, we've got some arguments. I think this might have been to a previous conversation, but Big Dave on D-Wing.
Ian Fowler, Growler, how are you, boss? How are you?
Some other contenders here from the audience. Contender for best band in the world ever, Bay City Rollers.
Really?
Nick, you don't know Stephen. He's a good friend of mine, fellow Scot.
I envisaged him in tartan pajamas right now.
And one for Mr. Fairclough.
Spice Girls. I'm not shocked there, Fluff. I really am not so.
Oh, right. There we go. So before we move on next, I've got a question.
Thank you.
I think it kind of follows. It follows in and around talking about Oasis and their kind of swagger and sort of Q attitude and all of that sort of jazz.
Yeah.
Obviously the podcast I've named it the JFDI podcast. And that's really all about this living a life of JFDI, just fucking doing it and not having any regrets, not procrastinating, not dwelling on things, not worrying that you might fail about going about your life. Just do it, just do something and move forward. So my question related to that, and because we've spoken about the Gallagher's and because we're talking about JFDI, how do you apply your JFDI?
Every day I get up, mate.
Every day you get up?
Every day I get up, I've just got to just don't fucking do it. You know what I mean? There are days where, yes, technically I'm in a life of luxury, and it's been now, how long been on for now? I did see it. 14. How long have we been on now? I saw a little clock earlier on there.
Oh, 40 minutes.
40 minutes, and I've not mentioned it, right? Even now as a warrant officer, right? I was waiting 40 minutes for it. No, even now as a warrant, I still have to get up and just fucking do it, right? A lot of people could sit back, enjoy it, cruise and all that. But I'll tell you now, I have never been more busy in the rank what I am now than I have been. I thought I was maxed out as a flight sergeant, certainly not as a sergeant. I enjoyed my time as a sergeant and all that. As a corporal, I was the best. But as an airman, I was the worst. You know what I mean? So I was very lucky to get posted to overseas, to get promoted. But I just get up and you just get on with it, because the challenges each day of my life. Everybody listening to us right now, and I'm not going to name individuals because it'd be too rude to do that. But We all have trials and tribulations every single day, you know, and it's all about who we trust around us, who we listen, let get into our ears, and, you know, who we listen to, you know, to inspire us to get on. And right now, I kid you not, I have the best support team around me to make sure that Nick Hamer is JDFI. And I can honestly say that they're all sat around me right now. They're all going, "Oh my God, don't get me involved with this shit." You know, Beth, Neve, Chloe, Tom, they're all sat around me right now. And they make sure I get up and just fucking do it. Get on, because you are worth what you are worth. And other people in previous lives may have thought they were JDFI, but they weren't. There were suction pads, you know, trying to keep me in a certain position.
Yeah.
And I fortunately pulled that seal, they fell away.
Yeah.
Sorry. You want the joking, Nick Hamer, don't you? I'm sorry, I'm just being serious there.
No, mate. No, but
I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful where I am today.
Yeah. Yeah, but you are right. I mean, you know, and it's like, listen, we do have a lot of laughs. But you know, there's a serious side to everybody's life, right? You know, away from the cameras, there's a side that some of us never see of our friends. And you're also very right that there kind of comes a time in life when, you know, the people that you're surrounding yourself with, that's important, because you know the characteristics of the people that we surround ourselves with kind of helps to define the person that, you know, that we are. So
if you surround yourself with nonsense or bad press or whatever, you're going to turn into that person. You are. Exactly. And I tell you what, Graham, Graham, getting very sensitive. Pinky lad, right? I love you, sir. Right. No, you look at all your friends around you, and I'm going to use Ali here. Ali, Mr. Back, you know, look what that boy's achieved. Look at him having the right people around him. Look what Andy's achieved. You know, again, you know, JFDR, you numpty. That's why you live in Canada, because no one likes you. Right. But sorry, I don't mean that, Mr. Clayfield. The point I'm making is we all get people around us to make us better.
Yeah.
You guys realise that before me. That makes you stronger people than I. I'll take that. No problem. I like that. Jameson does it. Hey. But the point I'm making is people mature in different ways, or people realise after whatever. Noxie, my God. Keep up the great work, stay true to yourself, Nick, tactical air defence. Bloody hell, Johnny Knox made me cry. Oh,
sorry, mate. Carry on. We've got to keep them all in.
Sorry, Johnny Knox. Right, no one swear, no one say anything, because that guy is as true to the cause as anybody. You know, that's beautiful seeing John. That's beautiful. It really is.
Thanks for tuning in, John.
Oh,
there you go. You know, you asked about John. John's still serving as well.
No, John's in Australia now. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Morning from Oz. Yeah. But they're not. Some people that no. Okay, forget that, Graham. Move on.
Right. Anyway, sorry. Next song. Come on, let's get it in. Come on. Or
before we do. Oh, we've got 2 more songs to go, don't we?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Right. It's fine. The next song is by New Order, World in Motion. What's the story?
World in motion, but I know what we can be. And there with Johnny Barnes going, you can get to the barn, you get to the lion, you got to and all that. What it was, 1990. Obviously, we're up at Peterhead, aren't we? England are in Italia 90. Every single Scots, and including you, I recall, had a Germany top, didn't you?
No.
Not having it. I saw you.
No,
definitely.
Never did. Never did.
If any Englishman dared to go to Peterhead for a couple of years, the abuse we got. But that was the thing, you know. Who remembers Tompkins, Paul Tompkins? He had his speaker hanging out the window in J Block. We're playing football outside. Oz thought he was Johan Cruyff. You know what I mean? He's probably got the same figure as Johan Cruyff now because he's got worms. You know what I mean? He's so skinny. You know what I mean? Bless him. You know, but he used to play football all day and love's got the world in motion. And of course, you know, it was just a magical time to be a young lad alive, the Royal Air Force, and in a foreign land. Be it Scotland, it was a foreign land. And we had such a great time, we really did. Did
you consider it a foreign land, did you?
Well, right, okay.
We not made to feel welcome by the locals.
I was at RAF West Drayton, right, and Mallow May and Di Dempsey, that sex pest from the years gone by, right? He said to me, "You're posted to RAF Buchan." I went, just to confirm, that is, he said that's Aberdeen area. I went, that's great, thank you very much. And I was put on a train from King's Cross with all my kit, 19 kit bags, you know. And at the time, I was probably about 3 stone wet, right, on there, trying to carry all this. And I got off the train at Aberdeen, expecting Royal Air Force Buchan to be at the train station. Yeah. Anyway, the bloke came up to me and he goes, "Felt like Malone came with a maid." Felt like Malone came with a maid. And I went, and I nearly started crying. I was 17 years old. And he just went, "Are you up to RAF Buchan?" Like that. And I went, and he started with his finger out. No, he didn't. Oh, Joe Hild. Hello, my darling. Love to see you. And anyway, he said, "You need to get on the what? Do you remember the bus number up to Buchan?" I do. Plays on my bleeding mind. The 203 up to Peterhead. And literally, he pointed me in the right direction because I had no idea. No one told us that you got to Aberdeen and then you went on the bus up to Peterhead. Andy Wills. Oh, my God. Good, because I'm 49-year-old sod. Anyway,
there's one for you, mate.
Coming in now. 10 o'clock. He did, Joe. He did. They're all coming in now. That's all the comments. So, yeah, he put me on this bus and he still went, "Felt like Malone, get rid of Hyde." I thought, what do I do? Do I reach round or do I touch him? I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. So I bought him a drink. There you go. Right. And anyway, he just said, "Say to the bus driver, NFL." And I was like, oh my God. And I said to the bus driver, NFL, he went, "Sit down, boy. It's going to be out an hour." And he got off and I got his mist. It was terrible. And I got off and I walked up there and I thought, where the Christ was I? And that mist and fog and dark skies.
The Buchan Heart.
Never. That's why I say I was in a foreign land. Beverly, hello, my love. Worst train journey ever. Thank you.
Yes, indeed.
See,
in many ways, you know, it does feel like it was yesterday in so many ways, and yet, you know, it was actually, you know, knocking on 30 years ago, right? 30 years.
32 years ago.
So let roll the clock forward, right? So I've been out. And you know, and a lot of the guys that we've spoken to in previous weeks have been out for some time. I've been out for 20 years. So tell me, since I've gone, what's changed? And
this is a great question. Right, so this is a great question. Right. We are better equipped now. We are. Our uniforms are amazing, second to none, right? Not like, do you remember we used to take our uniforms back to Ben Gunn just to wind him up? You know, yeah. I need 5 new shirts, you fat twat. Anyway,
yeah. I still remember my Hairy Mary shirt.
Exactly. We are better equipped. The equipment we have today is light years away. Right? It's light years away. But they would like to say, and I'm going to, if anyone's listening to it, I don't care, right? I'm a warrant officer, don't care. Right? I am. It is not as professional today as it was when we were kids in the Royal Air Force.
Right.
We can sit there and we can have our reminiscence about Jock Thompson, your Paul Clayfields, you know, your Derek Clintons, Matt Reeves.
Derek,
you know,
Clinton, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I mean, what was the Black Dog? What was his name? Penteith. Chris Penteith.
Chris
you know,
Penteith.
yeah,
Alan McGowan, Dolly Deacon.
Yeah, Dolly Deacon, the lot. I have tried to make me, you know, nice one, Joe. We have tried to make. God, how do you put this? I have tried to mold myself into some way, like you know, your Gordon McCullochs. I don't touch boys, but you know, right? You're right. No, and your Jock Thompsons, your Chris Penteith, because their traits still work today, but you can't deliver how they were to to an airman or an air can't say airman anymore. Sorry, air person. We can't say Manning anymore. It's strength. Believe it or not. Right. So what I'm saying to you now is they are better prepared to deliver defence task number one now than what we were. However, we were more professional in the late 80s, mid 90s to what they are today. And I don't think I could describe it better than that.
Right. Okay. Yeah. It's what about on the discipline side of things?
Oh, you got Pinky, my lad, my angel, the love of my life. You would have not been in so much trouble now, right, that you did back in the time, because it's all about how's his mental state, how's her mental state. Why did you do this? Why did you do that? Is it because you don't have the support mechanism for this? Support mechanism for that. So we can't literally do what it's like. I remember, right, Jock Thompson driving me down, right, from the ops section, right. Sergeant Stockton and Badger, that's great. I love it. And the Sherpa, remember that bay Sherpa?
Yeah.
Also, his personal wagon, he used to go drive around, didn't he? Picking up fishermen's wives. Anyhow, he's at sea, get in. Anyway, he used to drive around, and he took me down there, and he took me to my room. I was like, oh my God, what are you talking about? He said, get in your room. I thought, oh my God, Jock Thompson's going to kill me in my own room. And he went, get your toothbrush. I was like, you what? I thought, oh my God, Jock Thompson's going to kill me with a toothbrush in my own room. And he went, no, get outside. And he stood there for 3 hours, and this is God's honest truth, and he made me clean the crap of the double yellow lines round Buchan, Bodden site, with my own toothbrush as a punishment for being a knobhead. That, my friend, still lives with me today as a warrant officer, thinking, could I get away with that now? Not a chance. Not a chance.
So a lot has changed. Some for the good.
The operational output has changed massively. The technology has blown it away. If you can imagine now, it's like I've got 37 radars I can choose straight away from where I am. If you imagine back in the day, that's it. You had the Type 80 or Type 92, didn't you? And that girl's still going. Type 92, keep turning. It's still going. Probably one of the best radars we've still got. But the discipline now it's not as it was. Nowhere near. Nowhere near.
Crikey! Before we go on to the last song, one more question. Just because you're talking on that vein. So throughout the years from then to now, so I've got 2 questions here back to back. So through all the challenges that you've had from back in the day through to now, and spanning, is it pretty much 30 years that you've served?
No, 33, mate. In
33 now.
July the 6th will be 33 years.
Right. So I've got a 2-part question. I'll ask you the first one first. What would you consider your greatest achievement? This sounds a little bit like an interview question, but I guess for us guys that have been out for a long time, it's kind of, I think it's quite nice for those that have been out a long time to kind of hear, you know, what would your highlight be? Biggest achievement?
The highlight of my career, I mean, obviously I've had so many, but because I had a couple of brain cells, apparently, I was allowed to go to do, as we'll all remember, the officers' jobs, the branch jobs. So I went through identification officer training, and then I've done surveillance director training as well. And then obviously I started doing some of the other roles that are associated with that, which is out on the ground doing support SFSG shit out there. Okay. And the biggest opportunity I was given is
JFG. What?
Special Forces Support Group.
Thank you.
Right. Yeah, I know. I was afforded the opportunity to piss my size laughing. Thank you. Was afforded to go on to do the U.S. Marine Corps JTAC course out there, weapons tactic instructor. I'm surveillance. Why are they sending me out to do that type of job? All right. So I went out to UMAR in the States. I was in the out there. I flew to Phoenix, then on to UMAR. I was there as a 47-year-old man in the Royal Air Force, and I was then put up against 25 to 30-year-old US Marine Corps captains and majors, and I had an 8-week course that I had to complete. Okay. Now, I don't mind saying, you've seen the films where people ding, ding, to DR out the course.
Yeah.
Right? I was week of an 8-week course. I was week 3 into it, where my average sleep intake was probably 2 hours a night. I'm 47 years old. Whoa. And I remember, and again, I'll give kudos to Carl Tranter, right? I went to ring the bell. I couldn't do it anymore. There was 14 separate exams, theoretical exams I had to pass to get there. And I went to ring the bell, and not only was Tranter on that shoulder going, "Don't you dare, you fat dick. Don't you dare." Right? And on that shoulder, because, I've lost my parents over the last, number of years now. So I'm on my own, my brother. I'm there. My dad went, "If you do that, you are not Hamer. Remember the song, I'm H-A-M-E-R. I'm H-A-M-E-R. I know I am, sure I am, I'm H-A-M-E-R." And I was like, and the Marine General Knobhead came out again. "Are you going to ring that bell, sir?" And I went, "No, I'm just checking out how polished it is. It needs polishing. In the Royal Air Force, you wouldn't have that, mate." So I'm winding up, coalition forces.
Beasted a little bit more.
Went back. Anyway, went to the practical stages. Everything I was taught from Chris Penteith, from Dolly Deacon, from Vicky Franklin, from Jan Barlow and all that came to the forefront. This is how you do this and you do that. And I'm not kidding you. Just because they're online now, I'm not saying it. Went out there, went back, smashed it, came out as number 2 student, age 47. I got my double patch, JTAC, blah, blah, blah. Got it. And I've never used it since, but that's the Royal Air Force for you. I'm just seeing as a failure because it's an officer's opportunity, and I will still say I was sent out there to fail because they had nothing else for me to do. Right. If I didn't fail, I passed it, and I'm dead proud to wear the patch today to say to him, "Do you know what? Did it."
Yeah. Nice.
That's my greatest achievement, other than being
apart from being a warrant officer. I've said it now as well. We've got there's a comment here from Mr. Barlow. He says
I'm looking forward to that, definitely.
Yeah,
that's nice. Definitely. Mr. Barlow, I look forward to giving you the biggest hug you've seen. You slim bastard. How many medals for the cause? I've only got 8. I'm sorry, Mr. Fowler. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Carl.
Oh, and there you go. Like Vicky said.
Oh, thanks, Vicky.
Yeah, there you go. So let's move on. Let's move on to
the hour. I'm so sorry.
Listen. I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it.
Here's more. I love it.
Yeah. Last song, and then I've got kind of 2 questions, right, to go with the last song. And we've kept this one for the end. I think it's quite appropriate as well. I'm not sure what the reason is, so I'll let you explain it. Sit Down by James.
Oh, well, it's a double answer here, really. Right now, I've mentioned my younger brother earlier. Right, he was a spotty, horrible, big-eared bastard. You know, when he was growing up, and I always thought he don't look anything like me or my dad. Like I said to you, I think my mum was a bit naughty back in the day, but there you go. And he went to a different sixth form that I did, and he came back to me when I would just joined the Air Force, and he said to me, he said, "Oh yeah, so I'm getting quite friendly with a couple of mates in Marple Ridge College who set up a band called James." And I went, "Who? What? Hey?" And and then it went back to Peterhead. And if you remember, 2,000 watts of sheer music and all that nonsense. Yeah. And then it came on, and here we are, James, oh, sit down. And we always used to get in the rowing boat. Oh, sit down, oh, sit down. There you go. You remember, don't you? Come on next to me. I said, sit down, sit. And I was like, I said to our Mark, I said, he says, yeah, I'm in contact with them. They're good mates of mine. You are? You're mates with superstars, and to this day, they're still in contact with our Mark. You know, so well done to him. But that is why because again, the G, what a breeding ground. That's probably the worst thing to say. But what an area for us to, you know, to cut our teeth, you know, to sharpen our swords on, you know, to see people who we are today. I mean, all these lovely people who, you know, send messages, you know, your Vickies, your Joes, you know, your Ali's, and you know, and everybody. I don't mean to miss anybody out. Look at what they are today. Superstars. Because of the shit we went through at booking. It wasn't that bad. I mean, block raids, we all had them, didn't we? You know what I mean?
Once or twice.
There you go. Because you're singing a shite. Thanks, Joe. Little Joe.
So I put that up there to distract you because I didn't want to talk anymore about block raids because Mr. Osborne's watching. I'm gonna get him on here at some point. He says he's adamant he's not coming on, but he will.
Do you know why?
And Mr. O'Hare.
Well, you need more than an hour, mate. I'll tell you.
So listen, we're just a little over the hour, but I have to ask you 2 more very quick questions.
Go on.
All right. So you're still in. How long have you got left?
I've got. I will finish technically on the 12th of June, 2026. However, it's funny you should say that. Today, I had an email on our JPA system, what we have now. Would I extend to 60? To which I turned down instantly. No, absolutely not. So I've got 5 years in June.
Right. Okay. And what do you think now? What would you consider? What do you think that your biggest challenge might be when you leave?
Trying to fit in to be a civilian. It's difficult now. Yes, I have. As I say,
it's always been difficult.
I have my family around me right now. Okay, and I call them family because I love them to death. Right. And I'm the one who says I'm a military moron. I'm a Mike squared, right? And it's so difficult. You know, it's like just communicating. You know, it's like you know, little sayings. What we would do, for example, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend anybody. Say, cock womble. So if someone does something wrong, I'll go, you cock womble. And they will look at you. It's just like Neve this morning. She said, oh, I've just hoovered and dusted my room. I went, right, we'll have an inspection in 5 minutes. And I brought her to attention at the side of her room. She's 19 years old. Why is a 19-year-old doing that? Because I'm a fucking bit weird. Now, there you go. Civvies are weird fuckers. There you go. So I did an inspection. Other than
I love it.
TV license taped to the size of a TV, she passed her inspection. Do you know what I mean? So I said, if you haven't got a TV license, put it in your wardrobe. So, oh mate, so, yeah, that's my biggest thing, is transitioning into being a civilian, which I think may be my biggest challenge, because I don't speak the same language. You got out, Ali got out, Oz got out, Joe got out. You know, to be able to learn this new language, and I'm not sure I've got enough time to learn this new language. I just need Beth, please. I do think I need a little bit of toleration and love and affection, which hopefully I've got from her the rest of my life, because she's an amazing woman. This individual who stood here to my right. So there you go.
Do you want one bit of advice?
Don't say binner, for fuck's sake.
Don't say what?
Binner.
No, it's in relation to leaving.
Go.
It's in relation to leaving. I mean, as a warrant officer, I'm kind of guessing you'll have grown quite used to people doing things for you, and it might not be, you know, because I guess technically, you know, still within the airman ranks. So I guess it's more prevalent to any of our friends still serving that are officers. But the one thing,
you have no idea. I'm sorry to interject. You have no idea. The best thing about it is when I'm on a Skype call, ever, all the officers go, Mr. Hamer, Mr. Hamer this, Mr. Hamer that, and they go, officers, you know, it's Mr. fucking Hamer. Get on with it. You know what I mean? Simple as that. So officers, yeah, go on.
No, what all I was going to say is that is the being used to having people to do things for you.
Yeah.
It kind of helps, I think. You know, ever so slightly getting used to doing stuff yourself when you leave. To a certain degree. So listen, I've had an absolute blast.
That's half a bottle, by the way, in an hour. We've done well.
My God.
Fucking!
One more question.
Please. Sorry.
One more question before you go. I think I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask you anyway. As far as your career's concerned,
yes.
Any regrets at all?
No. Would I do it tomorrow in a heartbeat? I tell you what. Would I like to have a parallel life? Yes, I would. So I live the same life again, but not make mistakes, but make sure I emphasize my admiration, my friendship, my admiration for people. I wish I told them. I think I grew up when I got to the rank of sergeant. I'm going to be honest with you. I did. I wish I told people who I really, really liked, rated, and wanted to be around more when I was a junior rank. But I did. This might shock you, right? I don't think I had the personality or the balls to do it.
No, that doesn't shock me, mate.
There you go. Well, no, seriously, I would like to see them again and say, do you know what? Actually, you're a really nice fella, or you're a really nice lady. What you've done for me has changed my life.
Well, brilliant. Well, listen, you can
soft bit, but there you go.
Well, listen, you can say a quick thank you, because there's some last comments. People are saying thanks, so you can say thank you as I rattle through just the last of the comments before we wind up. So what have we got? Oh, there we go. Nice comment from Mr. Barlow.
Again, you know, Mr. Barlow. The last time I saw Gary, what we're talking, 1991, Gary. You know, do I ever stop thinking about you. No, sir, I don't. And I love watching your journey on Facebook, on Instagram, whatever. Today, your beautiful, beautiful family on there today. By the way, your son is definitely yours. Okay, he's a Spitz. He's a handsome looking lad. Beverly, you know, I remember the Irish accent as if it was yesterday. You know what I mean? It just absolutely, people haven't got what we've got today in the Air Force. If the Air Force was to do this in 30 years' time, they haven't got it. They haven't got the type of people we are today. There you go, our Carl, my bestest friend in the world. I love him. And I'd do anything for him. I'd lie down for him tomorrow. I would. You know, Karen, he's a lucky bastard. Andy Ware, there you go. There it is again. Do you know what I mean? I'm not seeing that boys, you know, since the Buchan reunion. You know, Ozzy. Ah, you cheeky get.
Does he not mean Roseanne?
Eh?
Does he not mean Roseanne or Rosette? Rosette.
Can he? Don't take the piss out of him. He's special needs. You know what I mean? Oh, you know.
Right. Listen.
Sorry,
you very much.
You need to end it. I apologise.
Oh, listen. No, we can stay on all night, but the thing is, this is the point in the evening where I say to everyone else goodbye and thank you very much for tuning in. And you and I stay and we have a wee chat in the green room, and then I play you some tunes on Instagram live from High G's where we put the lights down. And this is the one bit that I do get to do. I get to choose 2 out of your 5.
Can I have a wee?
Quite difficult tonight. Sorry?
Can I have a wee? I'm getting old.
You can. Let's say goodnight to everyone. We'll wrap it up for there. And next week, we will be back again. And if you want to know who is going to join me next week, then you're going to have to check out the High G's Facebook page, because the schedule's on there and how you can tune in. But listen, thank you, Nick. Thank you, everyone that's joined us. We shall see you next week. Goodbye.
Boom.